Mnemosyne, Plato, and Quantum Unitarity. Mnemosyne is the Greek titaness who literally embodies memory. She is the daughter of Uranus and Gaia, and the personification of both individual recollection and collective cultural memory. In the standard genealogy, she becomes the mother, by Zeus, of the 9 muses who govern the arts. Why make memory the mother of art? Early Greece was oral. Poems, laws, genealogies, and histories lived only as long as someone could remember and recite them. Hesiod puts Mnemosyne at the start of his theogony for that reason, and both the Iliad and Odyssey invoke her daughters because the ancient Greeks believed all creative work grows out of remembered tradition. In the sacred geography of classical Greek mythology, the journey of human consciousness is defined by 2 opposing rivers flowing through the underworld. According to ancient mystery traditions, souls preparing to enter a new physical body were compelled to travel through a barren desert and drink from the waters of Lethe, the river of forgetting. This act completely wiped their memories of the divine, non-physical realm, enforcing a state of cosmic amnesia considered a mandatory consequence of taking on a dense material form. Opposite the river Lethe, there was a pool or spring of Mnemosyne. Initiates in mystery cults were told to drink from Mnemosyne, the river of absolute remembrance, not Lethe, so that they would retain knowledge through death and rebirth. She presided over that remembering water. You hear her every time we talk about remembering. Our word, mnemonic, and the whole family, amnesia, memory, memento, comes straight from her name. To drink from Mnemosyne was to achieve a spiritual jailbreak, preserving the soul's eternal identity and knowledge across multiple lifetimes. Together, these 2 mythological forces represented the ultimate cosmological tug-of-war between the blinding density of material existence and the luminous clarity of spiritual awakening. Centuries later, the philosopher Plato took these exact mythological archetypes from his own culture and codified them into a foundational pillar of philosophy known as the Theory of Anamnesis, in which Plato argued that the human soul is immortal and inherently possesses all knowledge of the universe before it is ever born into the flesh. In his masterpiece, The Republic, specifically through the myth of he explicitly detailed how souls are marched to the plane of Lethe to forget their true nature before being spun into their next physical destiny. Because of this forced amnesia, Plato asserted that what we call learning in the physical world is an illusion. True knowledge is not the acquisition of new data, but a process of unforgetting, a conscious recollection of the absolute truths the soul already witnessed in the spiritual realm. For Plato, the human brain was not a blank slate generating thoughts, but a dense physical filter that temporarily obscured the soul's infinite memory. True philosophy was the art of clearing that filter, allowing a person to metaphorically drink from the waters of Mnemosyne while still bound to earth. In a striking parallel, modern physics has arrived at an identical conclusion regarding the absolute permanence of reality through the law of quantum information conservation. In quantum mechanics, a strict mathematical principle known as unitarity dictates that the total amount of quantum information in a closed system is never lost. It must always remain constant and can never be created or destroyed. While the brain's hardware is open, the actual experience of being conscious behaves like a bounded, self-contained system. This means that on the most subatomic, foundational layer of modern science, the universe does not permit a permanent Lethe. Physical transformations change the arrangement of matter, but the underlying information, the energetic blueprint of existence, is fundamentally immortal. What appears to our senses as destruction or loss is merely a shift in how that information transitions or is hidden from our immediate three-dimensional observation. When we bridge Plato's insights with modern quantum principles, we find a profound post-materialist model for human consciousness and the afterlife. Under this view, physical birth is the literal mechanism of Lethe, the biological brain acting as a specialized reducing valve that deliberately filters out the infinite sea of universal data so we can temporarily navigate a three-dimensional body. The brain does not generate memory or awareness any more than a radio generates music. It simply tunes into a highly localized physical frequency, creating a temporary illusion of isolation and forgetfulness. At the moment of physical death, the biological filter dissolves, and consciousness steps back into the vast unfiltered waters of Mnemosyne. Because quantum information cannot be destroyed, the complete energetic data of a person's life, experiences, and identity is instantly liberated back into the non-local field of reality. Unitarity means the universe cannot forget. It is the literal physics definition of Mnemosyne and matches Plato's idea of anamnesis perfectly. Recognizing that memory is a fundamental property of the cosmos rather than a chemical byproduct of grey matter elegantly binds science and spirituality, validating the ancient intuition that our true identity is never lost. It is simply waiting to be accessed. If you found this video interesting, please don't forget to give it a like. Thanks for watching.